do.
Lights up bright, dope, Campbell Stadium is alive. Seminoles rise and fight to survive. Helmet gleam under that blazing sun. Florida State where champions run. Seminole sideline 365. Feel the roar, we're coming alive. Garnet and gold in the battle we thrive. This is our house where legends arrive. Turf torn up under Seminole feet. The war chant pounds to the heart's own beat. Chop through the noise like a storm in the sky. 2025, we reach for the high. Seminole sideline 365.
Welcome back to Seminole Sideline 365. Thank you for coming back, and thank you, Knowles, for another big win. It is Saturday. We are post-game. 77-3 is the final out of Tallahassee.
Incredible.
Florida State, as expected, I think a little bit more than expected, destroys East Texas A&M out of the FCS. Handles them as they should, and handles them as they should, but in a dominating fashion like we saw against Alabama. Multifaceted win, and defensively, offensively, and just coaching preparation strategy that they excelled. So this is a great win for, a great win in terms of execution. I'll just get right into it because, there's only so deep you can go into this. And obviously, I think as player grades.
You mean there's no highlights for East Texas? They got 3 points. They did catch a field goal.
Well, if Michael Grant doesn't fumble the football, I think it is probably a shutout. But asking him to throw the ball in that situation is probably not great. But yeah, I'm not going to put that on him. But yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that a ton of people got. I mean, I haven't seen Florida State go that deep into their roster.
They emptied their roster
in years.
That was great, though. It was great to see, to reward people.
I think I counted 13, 14 plus people with rushing snaps today. I mean, that's incredible. Incredible to see. You had 4 different quarterbacks play defensively. On the other side of the football, you got deep into that side of the football as well in terms of defensive tackles. You got defensive backs in there. You got guys like Lester and I believe Bates and guys like that who are trying to get more playing time.
My new guy are Zay Parks. Zay Park and Jeremiah Johnson. Yeah, that guy looked tough in there. They both look good in there, but
Jeremiah Johnson, if anyone doesn't know, is the brother of Jermaine Johnson. So he's a walk-on.
No shit. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, he's a walk-on.
He was pounding the middle when they knew he was going to pound the middle. Yeah. So good for him, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's why these games, like we said, aren't particularly meaningful for the starters, but it's where these guys who are fighting for scholarships, fighting for advocating for themselves to get playing time, whether for special teams or a scholarship for next year, or showing game tape for other schools, to hit the portal next year for smaller schools, stuff like that. This is where they show off, and like you said, I think you saw some guys who were playing through the fourth quarter, and because it's their time. This is their time. They don't care who the opponent is. It could be an FCS school. It could be a high school. It could be anyone who's on the other sideline. They want to show off, and they did well. I think that was the most impressive thing to me, especially defensively.
I agree.
They didn't let up for 4 quarters, and they kept their pedal. Yeah, they kept the pressure on. They kept the physicality out, because that was one of my concerns. Because obviously last year, but in some years you see when the backups come in, the second or third team, you see a little bit less execution. You see mistakes happen, but that really never happened. You saw the Tony White kind of defense translate between the different groups of players on the defensive side. And I almost saw, even with the second team, you're seeing almost even more pressure being brought on the quarterback. You saw KJ Sampson having some big plays in terms of producing pressure. So I was really impressed, like with the second team specifically. And then you saw offensively guys like Kevin Sperry come in, true freshman, who they've been raving about, and you saw him execute the offense pretty flawlessly. Like I said, as a true freshman, learning Gus Malzahn's offense. And once again, he wasn't asked to do a whole ton in terms of like pumping the ball deep or wasn't like they were down 21 points, but for a guy like that to come in and not make a mistake, not fumble the ball away, make the right plays, get people in the right position, and then throw a touchdown pass on a great ball to, I believe it was Chroma up on the when he did the screen out perfectly over his shoulder for that play. And then I think he got another one to Javion Boggs. I think did Kevin Sperry
Boggs got one? Yeah, Boggs.
Yeah,
Sperry to
2
Boggs.
touchdowns. Yeah, Sperry had 2 touchdowns. One to Chroma.
Yeah, he had 2. He had 2. Yeah,
so he had in the I think we have the clip here. The Boggs one here was a great play. Just roll him out and right over the defender's hand. So things like that I thought were great to see him come in. And once again, you're learning to see our guys prepare if they have to come in. If guy gets hurt, can they execute the offense? How far are they behind? But things like that. That play was great to see him roll out. And then the play to Chroma was great. So I was impressed with him. Brock got in. He got some snaps. I think we know what we have in him. So yeah, I was excited about that. What stood out for you? What were you excited to see?
Well, I always like during the game, I like to take the possessions. Every possession we scored on every possession, and we had a hell of a lot of possessions. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and go through them all, but we had the ball more in this game. It may be a damn record. We scored a touchdown on every possession except the one where Michael Grant fumbled the ball and he got hit. He got hit on a blitz, but that was incredible. Yeah. I mean, this team we played, East Texas, they weren't a good football team. No. They're not a good football team. It was early on. You could tell they weren't a good football team because they were disorganized. Their center was yelling at the quarterback. The quarterback was yelling at the center. Yeah. Then a tackle would throw up his arms like, what the hell just happened? Yeah. I mean, it's not a good football team. We knew that coming in, but we didn't think maybe Florida State would, go crazy on them, but they did go crazy on them. And it wasn't the type of game where Mike Norvell or the staff were trying to roll it up. In the second half, it was basic stuff, but they wanted Sperry to throw the ball a little bit. They wanted Brock Glenn maybe throw a couple of passes. The rest of it was pretty much running through the tackles. Okay. Yeah. I don't see it as they were trying to embarrass a team, but we were trying to work on things. This is a glorified scrimmage, and East Texas got paid well to come in here and participate in that. And next week against Kent State, because they're getting pummeled today as well. Yep. They suck. So it's going to be interesting to see what Norvell and staff want to do in terms of development leading into, I think, the bye week before Virginia, right? Correct.
And Virginia is playing very well against NC State today.
They lost.
Points.
They lost,
but they put up points. Like that's a team that will be able to.
You're right. You're right. I start to respect your opinion a little bit more from what you said about Virginia. Virginia will not be an easy game in Charlottesville.
Yeah. On Friday night too.
Yeah, that place will be rocking. It's not a big place. No. You've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
But I am going to respect their team a little bit. And it's something we have to work towards as we start to get into the ACC schedule. Yep. But in this game, it was score after score after score after score. Now, you asked me, I could go through these. There's no sense doing that. We're not going to do that unless you want me to. But I did make a few notes, and I'll go through these notes. First of all, there were a couple of designated quarterback runs, including when Sperry was in the game. And I'm going like, I think they already know Tommy and Sperry can run. Why put them in risk? But when they did run, they obviously achieved what they wanted to do as quarterbacks on runs. Yeah. Tommy didn't have to scramble too much and make runs. But the biggest concern, a couple of concerns on offense. One is, if I'm an opponent, if I'm a good opponent, okay, I am going to try to make Tommy throw the football. I'm going to try to make him throw the football. Now, you say, well, why? Well, why? He didn't prove today he could throw the football? No, he did. He did throw the ball long today, which I think is sending a message to our opponents. We can stretch the field. Yep. We have Deuce Robinson and we have Squirrel White. Now, Squirrel White hurt his hand on a punt return. What have I said leading up to games? Why do you put Squirrel White on punt returns?
It's stupid. It's stupid, especially when you have Jalen Lucas, who is
but
all
you know
Big
I've said that
return.
Right.
Like
I've said that, right? You know I've said that.
Yeah.
So now Squirrel White has some kind of hand injury.
He was in the
cast. He's a receiver. Huh?
Yeah. They saw him in the cast after the game. Just
fuck. Excuse me.
Yeah. So he was seen on the cast in the.
So this is people are gonna. Well, not in the presser, nobody asks any questions, but fans are going to be asking about this. Why are we using? So he's done something that's going to keep him out 3 or 4 weeks. Okay,
yeah,
you put a cast on.
I think he probably got X-rays. We won't, like you said, we won't know.
Okay. But you agree with me, right?
No, it was stupid, and it was stupid because I don't think he was playing necessarily great. Like I think he's having. I don't think it's
use him as a receiver.
Yeah, especially when you have Jalen Lucas, you have an all-conference returner back there. Use Lucas, and that's who they went to when Squirrel was out. It seems dumb. It just seems dumb. In retrospect, it does. I don't. Well, I get this. Well, we want to get Squirrel White and Deuce to the league, but I understand what you're trying to do with him. But what you want to show the league is his ability to catch passes, short passes, medium range passes, and stretch the field. Yeah.
Okay. So now, we wish him well. I'm just.
Yeah, we need him to get back.
I'm a little frustrated with that. So we're going to need him back by Virginia or Miami. One of the two.
You definitely want him back by Virginia.
Okay, so I've said enough on that. I don't like running my quarterback against a team I'm going to beat anyways. I don't like designated runs with my quarterbacks. I think that's high risk. I'm not here to beat up what happened here today. I'm just showing the observations I had. When you're up 70 points, you have to make other observations about your team.
Yep.
The roster, going deep into the roster on both sides was excellent. They went deep into the offensive roster too. Yep. And that was wonderful. Deuce Robinson showed his ability to stretch the field, catch the ball deep on the run. And it was, I think, a confidence breakout game for him. But it also showed the opponents some tape of this guy gets behind you, you're going to have a problem. The one-handed catch in the end zone was an amazing ESPN moment catch. That's what's that they call it? You just got mossed. Gary, they do that segment on Fox. I think you got mossed.
It was
here
it is again.
Yeah, this is incredible. It's a great throw, and look at that. He took it in with one arm and coupled it in.
Robinson again. This time
unbelievable catch. Yeah,
that's a next level catch right there.
And great placement, like you said. It was a great placement. We're only right behind his shoulder. His receiver could get it. Great throw, great catch, great connection there.
And I think, offensive line held up well. Yeah.
And they did. And I think, like you said, this was a game for those two to build their chemistry in a live game situation. I think this game did that. You saw some slants to Deuce, and you saw he was catching everything in his radius essentially today, which is great.
Deuce had a good game, and they got him out of there at the right time. And I think that's a good thing. So it sent a message to future opponents that this guy can change the game in a minute, which it did. That was a very quick possession on our part.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me. I would like to see a little bit more pass play to the tight ends. Now, maybe we're saving that. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it could be because
Amari Williams caught a touchdown, right?
Yeah, Amari Williams caught a touchdown. He had two targets, one reception, one touchdown, but he was the only tight end that I am
Catch a
aware
ball,
of.
right?
I mean, Chase Lofton, but I think they're
Pittman's
technically
out. Pittman's out.
Pittman's
Yeah.
out, so that could set correlate to
Chase
some of that.
Lofton didn't even play, did he?
He did play.
He
According
did
to the
play?
stat sheet that I'm looking at, he got 1 target for 1 reception. But
Really?
that once again,
I
that
don't know
could
how I
be
missed
wrong.
that.
So it'll
Okay,
once we get the
I-
official stats.
I would like to see Gus put that in the mix a little bit. I think that would even give the defenses that we're going to face even more stuff to look out for.
Well, I
I
know
know he
where
uses them
the
as
hell is
block-
Landon Thomas? Like
he was in the game a little bit, but
he ain't
he's not-
catching the ball though. Like it's weird
It-
that you're not.
I
Amari was
don't
playing
get that.
offense and Amari made a couple of plays on defense.
He
today.
did. He was
So,
playing both ways.
He looks a lot bigger. He looks a lot more developed. He looks strong. He looks
He's a hell of an athlete, and,
Yeah.
and they used him on both sides, but they like him on defense because of his speed.
Yeah.
He can get around the edge a little bit, and he's strong enough to bull people.
Yeah.
So shout out to Amari Williams.
Yeah. But
In that regard.
Also, another big shout who had a big game today was Micah Dancy. He shows you that's another thing where defenses have to game plan for him. You saw East Texas having to once they were starting to move him around the field, and you saw that he just once he's in an open field, there's 1,000% chance that he could break one off quickly. He's just faster than everyone on the field.
He turned it on when he turned it on and he was headed downhill. That was like him running a sprint in the track and field. Just
gotta
get him go.
One block it'd take, and they blocked well.
Incredible.
But all it takes is that one block to open up a lane, and then it's gone. And
now I know not many kickoff returns happen anymore. But wouldn't you put him back there or not?
Unless you don't trust the hands on. I mean, not everyone's a hands person for kickoff, so it could be tough.
He's quote a receiver. I mean, he should have hands. Yeah. And this guy, when if he gets a 10, 15 yard head start and he's moving up the field, if he goes through a hole, I think he would be a nightmare to see on a kickoff team. But
I would agree with that. Yeah. I would agree.
So we'll see how that plays out. But hats off to him.
Yeah.
They went deep into the roster. They emptied the roster. I think they played everybody on this roster, the 105-man roster, including scout team guys. I thought it was fine. You know who didn't play is the other backup quarterback, King.
I think he's out this year. I think he's
got a red shirt?
No, I think there's something with he's just practice squad only. Yeah, I don't think he's expected or is going to play at all this year. I feel like I read something or saw something, but
really?
Yeah, I think the intention is he's not playing this year. He's maybe sitting out and full.
I wonder why that would be.
Yeah, I don't know why they would bring him in and not to have him play, but that's what I've heard. I think he's just fully kind of scout team, and I don't know in the age of transfer portal why he wouldn't be eligible to play, but I don't know if it's eligibility thing, like he has to sit out this year, or it's like they're reserving red shirt, but you can play up to 4 or 5. They may just be red. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but the fact that he didn't play today tells me he's not going to play at all this year.
Yeah.
So they just may be preparing him for next year.
Okay.
But it'd be weird. Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, I mean, you had a ton of guys defensively come in. I mean, Dustin Lewis posted up their late game defense, and once again, it was great to see that you didn't see a drop off in performance.
I didn't see a drop. I saw a bunch of guys battling. Yeah,
exactly. You saw these guys got playing time, which you may need these guys like Ricky Knight, Kai Bates got in, Max Redmond, true freshman. Jarvis Brote, right? Antonio Cromartie Jr. I mean, Taiwan Lee.
Donnie Haybert was in there.
Taiwan Lee was the guy you won over from Ole Miss, true freshman, and he made a big play around the goal line, I believe it was, to stop that drive.
Bracewell did a 4th down stop.
Yes.
Remember that 4th down stop? He is a walk-on.
He is. And Brandon Sonnen posted this tweet about him, that he was transitioning to an off-field role before they made the grandfather roster spots under the new rev share agreement, and that's the only reason he's on the field. He was prepared to just be done with football, and now you see him still making plays for Florida State. So it's a really cool story for him, and you could see how and I think that was one of the things that you saw the commentators call out, but it does feel like this team actually has a team kind of family. Everyone's excited for you saw anytime someone scored, it doesn't matter if it was the first touchdown or the last touchdown.
Right.
if a running back scored, all the running backs were there, and like people were
Yes.
so excited for everyone else's success in this game, and I felt like you didn't have that last year at all. I mean, obviously you lost a lot of games, but there was never that moment where you saw people, even if the guy's not getting a lot of playing time. Like you saw Elijah Moore, guy's not getting a lot of playing time, but he's congratulating the people in front of him for doing a great play, and vice versa. The older guys, Castellanos is all over Kevin Sperry and congratulating him for making his first touchdown. So, there's a lot of guys that are happy for others and their success and stuff like that. It's not just a me mentality. It feels like with this team. And when adversity hits, that's going to come into play. Hopefully, that culture of us versus me is going to pay off. But it does feel like guys are happy for other guys, and it's not, how can I just improve my individual stats? How can we improve as a team? That's really, it seems like that to me. But
I think that's a good point. You transitioned to me into one of my notes I have here, and I hope people don't take this wrong. Okay, and I hope viewers don't take it wrong. I hope people who went to the game don't take it wrong. However, I know this game was a total blowout, and we knew that in the first half. The game was over after the first quarter, basically.
Yeah.
It was hot as shit. I know that because I played softball this morning, and it was hot as shit. And this morning, okay, and I was a sweaty mess. I get all that. But I'm a little disappointed that the crowd was pretty much emptied out of that stadium by 2 or 3 minutes into the third quarter. Because you just talked about family, the players supporting each other. Where the hell were the fans? They want to beat the traffic. If you're coming all the way into Tallahassee to the stadium, to this festival of sport, I never left the game. I don't care if we're getting blown out or we were blowing somebody out. I never left the game, the stadium, until the game was over. I'm disappointed that our fans did not stay. It's like, okay, if we were getting blown out, they would leave too. Is that correct? If they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave faster if we're getting blown out. So if they're gonna leave when we're blowing someone else out, how does that? What do the players think of that? I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I want to get your opinion on it. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm disappointed when I see that. And that stadium was empty by the beginning of the fourth quarter.
I'd say a lot have lost.
The rest of the guys get in and they're playing in front of nobody. Disappointing. That's enough. I don't need to say anything else.
No, and I don't want to start a negative thing, but I do say, I was disappointed because, like you said,
I'm just making an observation. Is that an observation I'm making? I'm not trying to be negative.
Yeah, if you show up, stay. Like if you show up,
and I applaud the fans that stayed to the end.
Support the guys who aren't getting paid, the guys who are third or fourth string walk-ons who are doing the work too. If you're gonna support those guys too, don't just support when things are
you don't think that entire team and coaching staff, when the game's over, want to see all the fans 50, 60,000, whatever, stand up and clap it out and because I'm telling you, you don't see that at certain other stadiums around this country. So if people want to say I'm being a little hard or negative, say what you need to say, but I'd like people's opinions on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I hope that we see more of them staying in the future because we're going to need the fans for some of these big games, especially if things get tough. But yeah, back to the game itself. I think once again, the good part is once again we didn't know if it would be a little less energy going into this game after the big Alabama win, stuff like that, but it wasn't. And I think Deuce Robinson said in the post game that they couldn't get satisfied. That they take every game as a championship game, and this was championship game number 2, and they take every week as a new week, and I think that's the right attitude. And I think you notice that too, is that in that first couple 2, 3, 4 drives, there wasn't like celebrating after plays. They were just boom, boom, boom. Let's execute. Let's score. It wasn't,
There wasn't,
first down celebration. It was just
no,
let's
right,
drive the damn ball
right.
through them, and they did that. So I was very happy to see that. Like I said, they were laser like focus on both sides of the ball early. Earl Little, once again, I thought had a great game. He's gonna be critical to this team and its success on the defensive end. But I think, once again, Daryl Jackson, everyone on the starting defense did a hell of a job.
Shaheem Brown played some, but he's kind of disappeared.
He's not going to be a factor in this team if we're going to win.
But he's just kind of disappeared, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a backup. He's a backup, and that's fine. We need backups. Yeah. That we found. I think we're finding and we've identified who our starters are right now, and the guys who are making an impact. And I think, and I shouldn't have said it. We need, it's great to have Shaheem on the team, and backups are going to be impactful.
People are competing.
Yeah,
people are still competing every week.
Continue to compete. We need guys competing on every level, and that's what makes the starters better. So,
okay, let me ask you this: on the offensive end, I thought we were weak against a very weak team on short yardage.
Yeah, and the goal
line, especially at the goal line. I thought play selection was questionable, and I thought we were very weak of getting the ball into the end zone on short yardage plays.
Yeah, I think that I was thinking that too. I thought on the more traditional running plays, we struggled, especially inside that
I think we need to work on that, because that's going to come into play in big games.
Yeah, and I think too, there was a little struggles in the Alabama game when it came to those traditional run up the middle type plays at times. And you were able to get 2-3 yards. So, I think that will be something they continue to look at and work on and identify. Is it a blocking breakdown? Is it?
Yeah, what do you do? It's hard. Yeah,
I think some of it's. I think some of it, once again, is that this is a good offensive line. This isn't an elite offensive line. I think it's fair to say that this is a much better offensive line than we had last year. I'm gonna straight say that. But this is not a. You're not going to have 5 guys that are on all ACC, in my opinion. This is a team, this offensive line that's going to have good plays and bad plays when we go against better teams, like against UVA, against Miami, Clemson. This is a team, offensive line, that's going to have its ups and downs, and you have to be prepared for that. Against East Texas, it's easier to overcome those things. But I think they're going to have to continue to grow. And you're going to see some ebbs and flows in performance, because I don't think every player on that offensive line is an all ACC player.
No.
But
and none of them may be pro players.
No, but they don't need to be for us to win.
They don't need to be. That's
but
right.
We just have to be prepared for that. But I think, like you said, if we need to improve within that 5-yard range of the goal line, so we don't take the 3rd or 4th down, especially against East Texas. So we need to identify what are the ways. If we don't feel like we can run it right up the middle to do that, what are the avenues and plays that we can do to accomplish it? And I think I did like the rollout plays. I don't love tossing at the 5-yard line. We've seen so many times that work against Florida State in the past, where guys fumble the ball, and I think against Clemson a couple years ago, it was a toss out and they dropped it. I don't love that, but thankfully that this offense does allow you to do a lot of things strategically and uniquely that you shouldn't have to run it up the middle always. But it's nice to be able to lean on that if you trust your offensive line, if you have big backs like Sawchuk. And speaking of, Cam Davis got some playing time today. It was good to see him get some burn today. I believe he had he got a lot less than I thought he would. He had 2 attempts today for 13 yards, and he looked fresh. He looked like he was ready to go. But yeah, I think they need to improve that. But were you surprised with Cam Davis kind of?
He got like 2 carries.
That's right? That's it. Yeah. Are you surprised with his lack of inclusion in a game like this?
I think the story is being written on Cam that he's probably gonna. I could see him leaving this team in the next open portal after the end of the season. But on the other hand, he may want to stay and fight it out, because a couple of those guys are going to be gone.
Keziah's gone. Gavin's gone. Like, his time will be next, and it's a patience thing. Is like you said.
Yeah, he's going to have to make a tough decision on that, and he'll have to fight it out. He'd probably be in the top 3 guys next year, I would think. Yeah. But we don't know what his development is. We haven't seen him. We did see the freshman. What's his name? I always forget his name.
well, Sam Singleton playing, but he's a sophomore.
Not Singleton. Never mind. Cromar. He caught a beautiful ball.
Yeah, from Sperry.
From Sperry. It was a beautiful thrown ball on a wheel route. They lost track of him. He came around and he made a good catch. It wasn't like a 5-yard throw. It was like 20 yards down, and he caught the ball on the run and took it in.
Perfect. It was perfect.
A running back like Cromar, who can also catch the ball, starts to get NFL scouts' eyes on you. Yep. We don't know if Cam Davis is a good blocker at this point. We don't know if he's a good pass catcher. We saw him drop a critical pass last year. People still remember. We just don't know. But Cromar's catch here is unbelievable. He runs right by that linebacker. Look at that.
Talk about that throw, though. I mean, that is in stride from Kevin Sperry, true freshman.
In stride, perfect pass. He had some pressure in his face too.
Right.
So
yeah,
that is gonna that's gonna set up the opponent's defense to have to watch this guy.
Yeah.
Any running back that can catch the football like that is dangerous. It is dangerous. So let me ask you this as well. I saw Gavin Blackwell walking around on the sidelines. What's his status?
He played today.
He played?
He had a positive yardage play. They used him I think in like
I don't know what I was doing. I watched the whole game.
He had 1 attempt for 7 yards. Yeah, he got on the field towards the
he did.
Third
but okay,
quarter,
so my question, he was a portal guy we thought very highly of. Why isn't he seeing the field more?
He was injured. He was coming out.
Okay, you think they're just bringing him back on limited reps then or something?
Yeah. And once again, he was coming limited reps, and I think that too. This isn't an offense that's going to throw the ball to, we don't want it to be an offense that throws the ball 30 times a game, right? So there's going to be limited receptions, right? There's only going to be so many guys that are today you had a lot of people touching the ball because you threw more, but Castellanos only threw the ball 11 times today for 237 yards.
Yeah, that was my point about big games,
but he could have thrown it today for 500 yards if they kept him in.
And it means nothing.
It means nothing. So I think it was smart, but for this team to be successful, I don't think you want Castellanos throwing it 25.
Of course not.
You want to be able to establish a running game, a creative running game, and
play action passes for him and scrambles.
Exactly. And then have him be able to hit those passes, those long passes to Deuce and things like that, and the explosive plays. Gavin Blackwell, I think, once again, they got him in rotation today, but I think it's going to be harder for those guys who are third or fourth on the depth chart unless there's injuries to see it, because the ball's just not going to be spread receiving wise. And that's why I think they are using those athletes in the running game. And I think they will continue to do that. If they see a guy with potential.
Oh, those are gadget plays. Yep.
And they'll take a guy from receiving, put him in that, end around play or whatever they'll use her at. They're going to use the athletes who they think can contribute as impact players on this team. They're not going to waste anybody. And I think you have to ask the question, why wasn't Mekhi Danzey used last year? In a lost season,
because
you knew he was fast last year.
Because Gus Malzone wasn't here calling the plays.
Exactly, and that
we had Alex Atkins as the offensive coordinator. Remember Alex?
Yep, and that tells me that last year there
was a joke.
Poor preparation, poor identification of talent, poor execution. Because Mekhi Danzey should have been used last year.
Absolutely.
And it was even in 5 games to preserve his red shirt. I mean. He's an athlete. He's a star. He has star potential in terms of how you can utilize him and his abilities. And the fact that guy never saw the field last year is insane.
Danzey is a guy who plays in space. You find ways to get him in space, either screen passes or reverses. He's not. You don't want him running through
he's strong.
The
he's
tackling
a big guy,
guards.
He's not a twig. He's not a twig. Though.
No, I didn't say he is, but he's more valuable to you running in space.
Yeah.
We got other guys, Cam Davis. We've got Kumar. We've got
Sawchuck.
Sawchuck. We got all.
Singleton had 82 yards today. He had a big run.
Singleton's a good player. He's a good
player, but he's just buried. I mean, you're lucky to have all these running backs on your team because you have guys like Sam Singleton who can break off.
I started looking at Jermaine Johnson there. Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
I started looking at him. he looks like a bulldog. He looks like a bowling ball bulldog guy that couldn't you maybe he's the guy you want on 4th and 1 or trying to get into the end. The other thing is, who are the meanest guys in the trenches? They're not the offensive linemen. They are defensive linemen. What if you put some of your top defensive linemen just at the 4th and 1 at the goal line to go nasty on nasty with the other defensive linemen? Can you imagine just putting them in on a side and say, go get nasty on those guys? We're going to follow you into the end zone. We got 1 yard. You're going to move those guys out.
Yeah.
You're going to collapse them and we're going to go in there.
Yeah.
They are tougher. Okay. Offensive linemen may not like me saying this, but they are tougher than the offensive linemen. That's why, since they were little kids, they were identified to be tougher, quicker, and faster. And they're as big or bigger than some of these guys. So I'm just throwing that out there because I thought we struggled a little bit there. We've already talked about that. And the last thing I have on my list, and there was so much good. We could talk about good all night long. Here's the thing, because I'm looking at games down the road here, ones that really count, is the punt return game looks weak to me. We still haven't figured this out. More punts hit the ground than ones we caught today.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of punts, and next week will be the same thing, is there's going to be a lot of punting. So this is a chance to work this stuff out. But were you impressed with the punt returns?
No, it's been bad for 2 weeks. I think having Jalen, and that's why I just don't think Squirrel looked comfortable back there the last 2 weeks. And I think having Jalen Lucas back there is what should happen because he's done for his career.
Let him do that. Let him do that. I don't know who his backup's going to be, but you better have a backup ready because Squirrel's not going to be returning any more punts for a while. Okay.
No.
But I thought that's a area of work that needs to be done because, it just didn't look comfortable to me, and if you have guys back there who aren't comfortable, it's kind of like me playing the outfield. I'm not comfortable where I am at my age fielding balls in the outfield. I'm just not comfortable with it. Yeah. And you make mistakes when you're not comfortable. You get hesitant. You don't want to go get the ball. You would rather have it fall in front of you, which is much easier. And so, I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Yeah. So the final couple of things, injuries, we talked about Squirrel White. Hopefully he bounces back.
Who else we saw go down?
Stephon Thompson
he went down.
Up, and that that was late in the third quarter, I believe, mid to the late third quarter. And once again, you're like, why is he still in the game at that point to get injured? You're probably up 45 points at that point.
Because I think he's running as a backup. I really
but
do.
a key back. He's second. He's a second linebacker.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah, I agree. Why would you put him in there?
So
James Williams went down. I don't think he came back in the game.
I thought he did. I thought he did come back in the game.
He went down in the first half.
But I believe I'm not seeing reports. I believe he did come back on and then probably was used sparingly afterwards. But he did get banged up. I'll have to rewatch the game tape. I don't think he didn't record a sack today, which I hope that doesn't weigh on his mental. But he hasn't.
He's having trouble closing on the ends, he's trying to work a speed rush around the tackle. You see it. He's not big enough to bully the guy up front and push him into the quarterback. That's not his game. So he has to do a spin and come inside or work outside. Okay. And he's just not being able to close the deal.
So I hope, we're gonna need some big games out of him. So I hope he can start to put some of those things together.
And that was a lower body injury when he went down. So.
I think he's fine. I believe he came back, but once again, performance wise, I hope once again against Kent State next week he can have a big game just to build some confidence going into the ACC schedule. So those the three I think bigger injuries. Luckily, offensive line looked healthy. You got to see a lot of backups come in, which was good. We'll get their grades, we'll get their snap counts on the next show. But you got to go deep on the offensive line, which is good. And performance wise, I didn't notice a huge drop off in the offensive line play. You were able to run the ball still effectively in the second half and put up 40, 30 plus more points. So offensive line wise, it wasn't like it just all broke down when the backups came in. So that's another positive there. The only other thing I wanted to mention was related to what was the other thing? But no, I think overall, like you said, I think we pointed out defense played great, offense played great, special teams. I think there is some areas there for improvement, and we'll see how they utilize the kick return.
Yeah,
game.
we're just not a really good punt return team at this point. It haven't been for a couple of years.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's fine. One of the things I saw was Jerry Wilson had a nice interception today. That was a nice INT. Nice, he baited the quarterback into it. Yeah, he baited it. He backed off, and then he just darted. He knew the ball was coming that way as soon as he backed off. So nice play by him. Jacob Rizzi got into the ball game, got some quality snaps at some different positions.
Donnie Hybert had a big pass breakup as well.
Who?
The walk-on, Donnie, the
Donnie Hybert. Yeah, he did.
Had a big,
he's flying around the field. Cottrell was flying around the field as well. Yeah, look at that. He saw that coming all the way. Very nice play.
Yeah.
You know who had there was, I don't know if you noticed it, number 93, Desir had a one-arm tackle. As the guy was coming through, he was being blocked. He stuck out his arm.
Those guys are going to be good players.
And he took the guy down. Yes. The guy didn't run through his arm. He took in. This guy, both those twins, especially Mandrell Desir. This guy is legit, man.
Yeah.
He could make some money. He could make some bags of money before this is over with.
Yeah.
But other injuries, I didn't really see anything. Did you?
No, I think those are the ones we talked about. So thankfully got out pretty healthy, hopefully for the most part.
I think
and
so.
These aren't long-term injuries. But
and the offensive line did play a lot of snaps, the starters, and that's good. That's what you want to see. And that was noted by one of the announcers. They played all the snaps in last week's against Alabama.
And they need to, because it's still
that's what they do in the NFL.
And it's a cobbled together offensive line. They need to play snaps together. And with that, though, I will say the last 2 weeks, Florida State's played very clean football. No holding. Because that's the thing with an explosive offense. Yeah, you can't be getting backed up on.
Medley had a holding on something that backed us up early in the game, but after that,
you only had three total penalties. That's how you win football games. You limit the self
and no turnovers. Damage. Do we have any? We had one turnover,
fumble, but
the game was over. It was immaterial. It was irrelevant.
Three penalties for 35 yards. You give up one sack the entire game. You're going to win a lot of games with stuff like that. But the penalties the last 2 weeks have really helped you by limiting self-inflicted damage.
And I'm proud of the football coaching staff for not letting these guys go, not letting them think that this is going to be a cream puff, and that they're actually playing against our standard.
Yeah,
where our opponent, it's not really the opponent, it's the standard we expect to perform for, and they clearly exceeded that today without trying to just embarrass a team. I think they were working on stuff, and the coaches understand that. So that's all I have in my notes, but I do have a Jeopardy question after you're done with your notes.
No, the last thing I want to do is they shared who broke the rock today, and it was
they did
Ethan Pritchard.
Who was it? Oh, his dad.
So they had his dad in there. Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell did the speech. You guys can check that out. But they had Ethan Pritchard in there.
It's so hard. We gotta keep him in our thoughts and prayers. Yeah. This is a young athlete and a young man, that has family, and somehow at the wrong time, the wrong place, and he gets shot in the head. Now that's very, very serious. And we don't know how serious that is yet. Hopefully it won't have lifelong consequences. But anything that happens in the neck or the head is very difficult. And a quick story along that line. I met with an old friend of mine. I went to Florida State with. Both graduated from Florida State. We both went into the Army together. I met with him for late dinner yesterday. He was coming back from the VA hospital. Mm-hmm. He has been battling MS for many, many years. And and he is one of the guys that never stops. I've never seen a guy that's driving. He has no feeling below the waist. He still drives his own car. He gets out. I went over and I did help him get into his wheelchair. He has to lift himself from the front seat to the back seat to get into the wheelchair, just with his upper body strength. It's incredible what people can do. So, and I helped him get back in at the end. And it was, I don't know how he does it every day. It's a struggle. You talk about a grind. And so we wish the best for Ethan, for his family, for his pops there, and that he'll make a full recovery, because it's just terrible. Sometimes you get caught in an event, but it's a struggle anytime you get hit in the head or the neck or any of these terrible diseases. So
yeah, absolutely. No, totally agree. Wishing the best for him. And I think we have, here's just a little bit of the speech Norvell did.
Ethan's dad came to spend the day with us. He told me the other day, he goes, this is where his boy wants to be. We got it done for him. Mm-hmm. Right? I want you to take that to him.
Yeah.
A lot of great performances today. But if you guys are good.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the right move. That's a good deal, because we don't know how hard this could be on this young man, because after seeing my friend last night, life can be difficult. Life can be difficult. So we wish him the very best, because we're sitting here talking about a game. He's playing real life.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's wrap it there. But overall, great game.
Oh, I got a Jeopardy question. Then you can go off the air. Here it is. Why was the woman the announcer for the ACC huddle? She kept saying when she was on air or whatever, UVA played NC State. They're both in the same conference, but this is not a conference game. I don't get that.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's dumb. It's so
What
dumb.
the hell does it? Did she mean they're not in the same division?
No,
we're all in.
They scheduled a non-conference conference game.
Why? So why is that?
Because this is how stupid ACC teams.
Is that about TV or something?
No, they're just dumb. They're just dumb.
Well, I don't understand it.
They wanted to schedule a worthy opponent, I guess, but also
we got to put this out as a short. I mean, this is the most confusing freaking thing, and she never explained why. She just said it 2 or 3 times. They're both in the same conference, but they're not. This is not a conference game. I've never heard of such a thing.
It's true. It's a non-conference game that because they have each team has non-conference category schedule slots.
Oh, because you can only have so many. It's a numbers game on non-conference versus conference.
And they chose this matchup for their rivalry matchup, that they used to meet, and they utilized that for this matchup. So it's the first time it's happened since 1948.
So it's a political thing. Media thing.
I think it's stupid. I just think it's stupid. I don't. If NC State and UVA, because they think it's a rivalry game. I don't think anybody really cares about.
I think UNC and North Carolina State was a rivalry game. I've never heard of NC State and UVA being a rivalry game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares about this game. It would be better for them to go out and try to schedule someone from the SEC or the Big Ten, one of those schools. Why? That's what doesn't make sense. These schools are so dumb. Go try to schedule a real opponent. I guess maybe it is better than schedule wise. Maybe it is better than paying the school to come in. You could debate it that way. It's like adding a ninth schedule game. It's like adding a ninth conference game that doesn't count. I don't know, but it still does count. It's stupid. We could go on for about this for hours, but
that could be a separate program.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's it. The last thing I just saw this posted up, not related to Florida State, but Syracuse had another tough game today. I believe they barely beats UConn by 7 points at home today, 27-7.
Wow.
And Fran Brown, their coach, made them do sprints after the game.
Oh shit! In front of the crowd, who's still
crowd.
there? Yeah. Oh.
He's right there in the middle of the field, making them do sprint. He made them do sprints because of their effort today. I don't know if this is going to actually work, but it's. I haven't seen this in a while, but
those aren't long. That's 20 yards. They're loafing. That's nothing. That's nothing.
Right
that's a immediate thing. Look at this.
Yeah,
How many did they do? If they only did 5, then that's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I don't think this is going to fix the team.
No, it's not
struggling with UConn.
No, yeah, UConn. I'm going to say they're better than Miami playing Bethune-Cookman, right?
No, I agree.
Hey, how about the starting quarterback for USF is out for the first half when he broke curfew?
That was a fake. That's the troll.
It was?
Yeah. It was
I'm tired. Because I'm not deep diving into all of this. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
He's not out. But yeah, go. There's a lot of good games or better games on right now.
You should put up the picture I found when I was on the scout team back at Florida State. Do you have that?
I don't have it.
We'll put that up. We'll tease that out to the fans.
But yeah, there's a lot of good games on Florida.
Which game do you think is the game to watch? If you could only watch one game.
There's not probably the Kentucky Ole Miss game.
Really? You don't think the Oklahoma, is that game still going on now? Oklahoma and Michigan?
Oh, that's 3:30. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 3:30.
Yeah, that's just starting up.
I don't even see it on the ticker.
Yeah, it's just starting. Yeah. That's probably the game. I think that's the game you want to watch.
Yeah, other notes, Duke gets blown out late. I think this game was pretty close until the fourth quarter, but Duke got blown out
at
late.
home.
So yeah.
What else is up there?
So and then
Texas rebounded with Arch Manning against nobody.
Kent State got blown out by Texas Tech. So that could be.
Last week was matchup week. This week is eat a cupcake week.
Yeah.
Or pay the FCS teams week.
Troy's up early on Clemson though. That game is delayed in a delay. Troy's up early 7-0 on Clemson. Go out and check that out. But I think South Florida could be another game you watch. Because
I think that'll be interesting.
South Florida looked good against Boise State, but once again, you don't know why Boise State was ranked in the first place. But I like South Florida's quarterback. He's a physical guy. He's got some wheels. He's a fun guy to watch, if anything. So yeah, if I had to watch a game, I actually probably would watch this at least to see how
about the Buffs? Colorado, they're up 10-0. Who are they playing? DE. Who is DE?
Delaware.
Oh God, the blue hens of Delaware.
Once again, yeah.
They have a blue football field. Aren't they the ones with the blue football field?
No, that's Boise State. Delaware made too, but I know Boise State does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So enjoy y'all's afternoon.
And NFL football tomorrow, baby.
It's back.
So, hey, Commanders. So who are they playing? They're
Giants,
playing
again, Giants.
That's a good train up and down. That's a rivalry.
Yeah. It's not a made up one.
Oh, that's a rivalry there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys,
isn't Jameis Winston still on the Giants? Yeah.
Yeah. I think as a deep backup, but I think he's still on the team.
Backup. That guy,
he's like third or
playing.
fourth. He's like third string, I think, right now.
He don't care. He don't care.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again for coming out, whether you're watching this live or recorded. We appreciate it. Big win or good win for Florida State, 77-3. Or whatever it was, I lost track after a while. But have a great weekend, y'all.
7-3, yeah.
Have a great weekend. We appreciate you being there. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all very soon. Take care,
guys.
Go Noles. Go
Noles. Go Noles.
Seminole sideline 365. Feel the roar. Every yard we take